Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on sustainability science. Ensure your recycled polyester claims are genuine. I'm Marie-Annabelle Mermaz. I'm the CEO of AGT and API and the Managing Director of Warm Safety Consumer Product Division. And I'm very glad to host this webinar today. A warm welcome to our VIP customers and our business partners. We are very glad to have everybody on the screen and in the conference today. And we are also very proud to have this opportunity to present to you today a very innovative solution to test your recycled polyester. It's a very reliable and unique method that we've developed with a team of experts, and we are glad that we can present it today. Before we start and dive into the topic, just a bit of logistics and let you know how the seminar will be organized. So this presentation will last for about an hour. You have all joined the webinar in a listen-only mode. So that means that you cannot interact with us, but you can definitely send us some questions during the presentation. You have a question pane, which is on the right-hand side of your screen, and you can leave us a message in the control panel and just click send. So please don't be shy to shoot any question at any moment. We will have some time at the end of the presentation for a short Q&A session. And in any case, if we are not able to answer all questions at that moment, then we'll make sure that we'll come back to you via email. The slide deck, in any case, the slide deck and the webinar will be available on our website and will be shared with all of you after the live sessions. So let me introduce the team of speakers today, and I'm very glad to have, I have around me today 3 PhDs and 4 very strong experts. So I will start with Dr. KANNAN MUTHU, who is our head of sustainability. Dr. MUTHU has a doctorate in environmental sustainability and is a specialist on life cycle assessment. KANNAN has over 10 years experience in supply chain environmental sustainability across Asia, Europe, and Africa, and over a decade experience working in recycled material related topics. KANNAN is based in Hong Kong. I'm also very pleased to introduce Mrs. Daniela Berling, who is heading our laboratories network. Daniela has a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering from the University of Applied Sciences of Munich. She has over 10 years experience in testing, inspection, and certification. And she's managing today our global laboratories network, focusing on consumer testing for softline and hardline products. Daniela is also based out of Hong Kong. Dr. Samuel Le Goupil is the next person, the next expert and teammate I would like to introduce to you. Samuel is an engineer and PhD in physics, mathematics, and data analytics. He has 20 years of experience in industrial innovation working for the CEA Tech. Samuel has developed cutting-edge control methods for manufacturing industries in automotive, aeronautic, energy, space, and is also an expert in open innovation. And Samuel is based out of France. And finally, let me introduce also Dr. Vincent Portaluri. Vincent is an engineer and PhD in food authentication using NMR and chemometrics. Vincent has developed food traceability methods using NMR metabolomics and isotope ratio monitoring. He is an expert in honey and vanillin authentication, and Vincent is also based in France. So we're very pleased to have all our experts today with us. And before we deep dive into the topic of recycled polyester, I would like to take a little bit of time to introduce or to refresh, because a lot of you already know us, to give you a bit of refresh on our group. So Warm Safety is a family group with more than 170 years of experience. We have a presence worldwide with 1,400 specialists working over 80 countries, and we rely on a network of 13 laboratories. Today, as a group, Warm Safety is focusing on the best added value we can bring to our customers. We really have our customers and their need at the center of everything we do. So we are converging our expertise and the expertise of the different companies to bring the best added value to our customers. So you can see In these charts, you can see AGT specializing on softline, apparel, footwear, textile. You have API, which is AGT sister company focusing on home product, hard goods. AQF, that is providing for the group, and sister company of API and AGT, providing agile solution and really online driven solutions. We have also the network of laboratories with Warm Safety Laboratories, and finally LBAD, which is another company of the group and focusing on cosmetics and pharmaceutical. And this is with the convergence of these experts that we're able to develop the solution we're going to present today. As a group, we also define ourselves as agile. We are also experts. And we are convergent. We are bringing all the expertise together to deliver the best added value for our customers. And we put sustainability at the center of everything we do. Sustainability is at the heart of everything we do, and it's part of our DNA. It's a key concern for us as a company, but it's also a key concern as people, as humans. For me, for instance, as a mother, it's really a topic that is dear to my heart. And you will see that we have a lot of passionate people in our company, people who are passionate about sustainability. I think you'll discover that in a few minutes. Talking about sustainability, we have a focus on raw material and particularly recycled raw material. Just to give a bit of numbers here, the global fiber market today is highly dominated by polyester, which constitutes 55% of the total fiber production. And the use of recycled polyester in textiles, for instance, is rising sharply. Recycled polyester is, and this is where we have decided to make a focus based on the element I just mentioned, and recycled polyester is really the sustainable answer we want to discuss today. There is definitely a growing demand for sustainable products, and this has made recycled material in fashion tremendously valuable to brand as well as for the environment, obviously. Before we go actively into the topic, we would like to ask you a couple of questions. So we're going to have a questionnaire that is going to pop up on your screen. And there is a list of 4 or 5 questions. So the first question, and I'm hoping that the questionnaire is opening at your side. In case it's not what is happening, don't hesitate to leave us a message. So the first question is, does your company intend to use recycled polyester? Now you should see the questionnaire. So does your company intend or is already using recycled polyester? We're just waiting for all of you to answer the question, and then we will move on to the next question. So that's a massive answer with 90% of yes. So does your company intend or is already using recycled polyester? 90% yes. So it shows that we are right to focus definitely on recycled polyester. Let's go to the second question. The second question is, are you familiar with recycled polyester regulations? Are you familiar with recycled polyester regulations? So we just have to wait a little bit. Yes, so 78% no. So we hope that today you will be able also to understand a bit more on that side. So that's a very interesting answer. Let's go to the third question. Why does your company intend to use recycled polyester? Why does your company intend to use recycled polyester? Is it for marketing claims purpose? Is it related to legal obligations? Or is it part of your corporate sustainability strategy? Is it linked to pressure from NGOs, or is there any other reason? And I think in this case, in the questionnaire, you might have the possibility to indicate why, what would be the other reason. So why does your company intend to use recycled polyester, or is already using recycled polyester? Is it linked to marketing claims, for legal obligations, corporate sustainability strategy, pressure from NGOs or exposure, or do you have any, is there any other reason why you're using recycled polyester? So here, let's see what's the result. So the first element, 74%, is linked to corporate sustainability strategy, 62% in order to be able to have marketing claims, 21% in order to fulfill legal obligations, and 13% linked to pressure from NGO, and finally 8% of others. So it's very interesting. So, and the majority using recycled polyester is really linked to company corporate sustainability strategy. And finally, I think we will go to the last question. How do you verify the recycled content of the polyester you use today? How do you verify the recycled content of the polyester you use today? I do not verify the recycled content. I trust the supplier confirmation. I trust the certification the supplier provides. I test and verify through a third party, or, well, I don't use recycled polyester, but we've seen that this was not exactly the case with 90% on the first question. So I think in a couple of seconds, we will see the answer to that question. So very interesting here again, how do you verify the recycled content of the polyester you use today? 71% of you trust the certification the supplier provides, while 11% don't use recycled polyester. 8% are testing through third parties. 8% trust the supplier confirmation. So I imagine in this case without certification, and 3% do not verify the recycled content. Thank you very much for answering these questions. And I think it's really helping us also to make sure that we are bringing the right information and the right solution for you. And without further ado, I will let Dr. KANNAN MUTHU explain more about sustainability today. Thank you, KANNAN, and I'll leave it to you.
Thank you, Marie. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. So happy and pleased to be speaking to all of you through this webinar about sustainability as well as about recycled polyester. I would like to begin with talking about, actually my initial plan was to talk about sustainability. Then I realized that, you know, with the audience today, I think there is no need to give a very formal introduction about sustainability, because at this juncture, I'm sure everyone knows about sustainability, what it means. So I would like to directly go to the sustainability market trend by covering some of the current market trends. So when I say current market trends, I'm going to talk about only 4, but it is not really limited to 4, but we have cherry-picked 4 important points to talk about or to embark about sustainability in terms of market trends. So let me first begin with increased consumer awareness. The reason is today, sustainability is certainly centered upon increased consumer awareness. What does it mean? And that will, and what does it will result in? That with the increased consumer awareness will obviously results in increased pressure. So when I say increased pressure, you would really look for from where? It is coming from many folds. Some of the folds are, you will get a pressure from your consumers as well as pressure from other parties like NGOs. So that really gives a second one. What is third? So you can see, you can assume in the list, I'm going to talk about the regulations for sure. So there is also an increase in the regulations. When I say regulations, you can really presume it's going to be in 3 folds: local regulations, regional regulations, as well as national and global regulations. So local, regional, or national and global. So again, regulations are going to be in 3 folds. Then you can expect the last one, last certainly but not least, it's about increased marketing efforts to make things happen again without greenwashing. So these are the 4 topics I would like to talk about today in terms of market trends, in terms of sustainability. So in the previous slide, I touched upon increased regulations. So I thought I should give you a glimpse of what does it all about. As one can witness, there is an increase, I would say tremendous increase in the number of regulations coming up every day. So it's not that regulations have come up before and we are just living with it. No, you can see, you can witness every day we are getting new regulations. For example, when I finished my doctorate in environmental sustainability in 2011, there were not many regulations. One can sell whatever has been produced, or whatever has been produced can were sold. But now we are not living in this luxurious era. So we need to really comply with a lot of regulations again on local, regional, and national levels. So there is no question, or there is no second thought. One has to really comply with all the regulations at, again, different levels. Let me specify again: local, regional, and global levels, starting from beginning of the supply chain until the product has been manufactured and sold. So there is no regulations only on manufacturing side. So the regulations are covering up the entire supply chain from scratch till the product has been produced and even sold. So this is where the regulations are really filling up the entire supply chain as well as the market today. And very important thing you need to note is these regulations keep evolving, and we don't know. Today we are living with these regulations like zero liquid discharge in some countries, 24/7 online wastewater monitoring, regulations on recycled polyester, regulations on EU Green Deal, lot of regulations today. Tomorrow there could be much more regulations. So one has to be prepared to face all these regulations. Today we have a lot of regulations, such as the ones to encourage circular economy, regulations on packaging, regulations on recycled polyester use, which is the crux of today. And also we do have increased regulations associated with recycled polyester claims. If you intend to claim your, the content of recycled polyester, what you may have in your products. So that will stipulate in terms of increased regulations. Next, I will talk about the importance of regulations, importance of recycling, and what is the importance of having recycled materials in place. So first, let me orient all of you towards a very quick glimpse on the process of recycling. Of course, I'm not going to give you a lecture on the process of recycling, types of recycling, allocation of recycling. So that is going to take a lot of time. I'm going to really touch upon a glimpse on what constitutes a recycling process. So recycling is a process of collecting and processing materials that otherwise would be thrown away as trash. And you all know where the trash will end. The trash will either be ended at landfill or it will be incinerated. This, of course, has a lot of negative consequences for the planet. So the best way is to turn these materials into useful or new products, which will have instead a positive impact on the community as well as the planet. So this is what the importance of recycling is happening. Importance of recycling is all about. And it's really worth mentioning to all of you about what are the two main types of recycling. One is open loop recycling, another one is closed loop. What is open loop? In a very simple way, if I want to define, open loop is if I have X product and I recycle this and that turns to be Y. So X is the primary purpose of the product, but I turn to Y because of downcycling, because of many reasons. This is open loop. So what is closed loop? X product with mechanical recycling, chemical recycling, or any advanced level of recycling, I turn again back to X, and the cycle is joined back with the same loop. That's called closed loop. So X was the primary intention of the product. After recycling, the product is again turned to be X. That's it. So this is a very simple way of explaining two types of recycling. With that introduction of two types of recycling, I'm going to touch upon what are the benefits of recycling. You might ask, why do I have recycling at the first place? So I'm going to give you some benefits, again, not limited to, some benefits. First, as I mentioned to you before, it is going to reduce the amount of waste reaching landfill or incineration, sometimes landfill and incineration. You all know about the negative consequences of landfilling, like it will create leachate or landfill gas, or it will end up in incineration. So if it is a plastic, if you incinerate, that will create a lot of chemicals that might be carcinogenic. So landfill consequences are well known. Third one, it will certainly conserve natural resources. So I include all the natural resources under one. It could be energy, raw materials, water, everything under that fold. What else? It will increase economic security for sure. It will certainly helps to prevent pollution. Last but certainly not least, it will help to create a lot of jobs. So you can see it has a very positive impact on the community as well as the planet. So I would say recycling is the need of the hour. We have to go for it, and we have no choice today. Next, we have seen that there is a strong need or dire need to have recycled materials. And let me tell you, today we don't have landfills. All the landfills are full. All the landfills are filled or full. And incineration has not been encouraged in many countries. So today, even if you ask me, do you have any better option than recycling? No. Maybe upcycling or reuse. Otherwise, recycling is the only option today to deal with the waste. So with that introduction or the background, so we have seen that there is a strong need to have recycled materials. So we all agreed that we should have recycled materials. And now here comes the problem of you need to let the stakeholders, your consumers, or everyone in your supply chain know that you are making a product out of recycled materials. Sure, you all will agree with me. And here comes, you have to claim that, yeah, the product what I make is made out of recycled material, and what is the content of recycled proportion in that material, right? So this constitute this part what I'm going to touch upon today. If you climb, so you ended up climbing it. If you climb with facts, it's obviously perfectly okay in scientific consensus. But what if otherwise? You climb without the facts, then you get into the trouble. That means it's turned to be greenwashing. Fake claims in relation to whether you make a product really from a recycled resource or what is the actual percentage of recycled content in the material, all will constitute in terms of claims. And if you make factual claims with all these aspects, it is absolutely fine, as I mentioned before. But if you fail to have an authentication in any of these factors, then you will lead to greenwashing, where you need to be really careful. So now you will certainly ask me, what is the way to get rid of? So that's what we are going to talk to you all about today. Having a proper verification and authentication from a reliable third party like us, that would be the way to, that is the way out. You can have a proper claim which are validated by us, that will lead to a meaningful communication. So here you get rid of greenwashing, and you also make a meaningful claim with a proper communication channel to the entire stakeholders or whoever involved in your supply chain. So this is the meaningful way of having recycled products in your supply chain, and also let your consumers, stakeholders, everyone in the supply chain know about what is the recycled product you are making and what is the claim all about. Next. So today we are going to talk to you at length about verification of recycled products for increased traceability. So here we have given 3 ways from our experience so far. We have found out there are 3 proper ways to verify and validate your recycled product. What are those? First one, a documentary review. Second one, an on-site audit. Sometimes you can't get an answer for your traceability issues with documentary review alone. So that will lead to the second level, which is on-site assessment. Third one, a scientific approach. I have to tell you, working so far with these materials, I have to tell you, sometimes solution 1 will suffice. Sometimes no, you have to go for second one. 1 + 2 would suffice. Sometimes, worst cases, 1 + 2 + 3 would give the right solution. So this is the reason we are proposing all the 3 solutions out there. And certainly 1 + 2 + 3, you will get a concrete answer, and that will get rid of the greenwashing at all completely. Okay, so next, I want to talk about our sustainability solutions from our group, what we are proposing to our customers. We do sustainability in a holistic way. We begin with manufacturing sustainability. That means in the manufacturing background, in the manufacturing boundary, we do environmental assessments encompassing environmental management systems, energy and carbon footprint, water footprint, wastewater, air emissions, waste management, and chemical management. Then we also talk about product sustainability. In the environmental setup, we map the supply chain of the products, and we do measure the carbon footprint, environmental footprint, or any footprint for that matter. Then we also help our customers, brands, retailers, and manufacturers in terms of validation of green claims. And if you want us to do some sort of claims, we do that as well. Then we do help with recycling verification, and that's what we are going to talk about. And all my other colleagues are going to talk about that as well. Last but not least, we do have Sustainable Academy. This is like a kind of training resource center where we do training to the different colleagues. Maybe if you are working from brand side, retailer side, so we do train a lot of topics under the umbrella of sustainability, and we also do capacity building in the factory level on environmental management, chemical management, water footprint, or any topic for that matter. So this is a complete knowledge building center. This is certainly one of the unique aspects of OHMS. This is what we do in terms of sustainability solutions. Thank you, Marie.
Thank you very much, Kannan. Thanks for your passion and energy on the topic. Always appreciated, and I'm sure our attendees today have appreciated. So we will let Daniela introduce our laboratory capabilities. So Daniela, I'll leave it to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, and also very warm welcome from my side to everybody joining this webinar tonight, or today. For me, it's tonight. For others, it's during the day. As Marie mentioned in the beginning, we have a network of 30 laboratories within warm safety, located closely to major manufacturing areas in Asia as well as in Europe. And with this network, we provide expert solutions for products falling into what we call in the industry the hardlines and softlines product category. So first, I would like to walk you through our current technical expertise. Firstly, talking about softlines. So within our softlines expertise, we really cover all main materials from fiber to trims, to leather, to textiles. And of course, we also cover all related products like garments, footwear, bags, and home textiles. Our technical expertise stretches from services for the European market, the Australian market, where we have a very strong footprint, to the North American market, as well to the Chinese market. And as this is today a webinar focusing on sustainability, I would also like to mention, yes, from testing side for softlines products, we can cover sustainability related topics. Coming to our hardlines expertise, again, same as for softlines, we cover all main materials like plastic, wood, paper, metal, glass, and ceramics. And while our core competence really lies in the area of furniture, toy, and food contact item testing, we also offer test services related to tools, decoration, electrical products, and sanitary and office products. For this category, our lab capabilities cover the EU market, where we're very, very strong, but we also cover the North American market, as well as the Australian market. And again, same as for softlines, hardlines, we can also cover sustainability-related testing topics. Regarding our test approach and where do we want to be different, we really want to transform lab testing from a random detection of symptoms to be more a verification method of risk prevention action on client side. So what does that mean? Instead of focusing on past failed results, tested on a provided test sample in a detached test report. We really want to enable our customers to anticipate risk, to identify root causes, and to go beyond what they can see today. How do we want to achieve this? From Eagle Eye perspective, we at Worms Safety Laboratories really want to offer a new and smart approach to lab testing, powered up by digitalization and innovation. Our customers, you guys, need to adapt to an increasingly fast changing environment of consumer, retail, and supply chain trends, while at the same time maneuvering an ever growing complexity of regulatory landscape. By integration, our expert knowledge, especially as mentioned before, for furniture, toys, textiles, and food contact items, for integrating this expert knowledge into our agile and highly customizable testing concept, we really want to offer more like a boutique feeling than the one-size-fits-all approach, while of course at the same time maintaining operational excellence topics like efficiency and productivity to keep costs at bay for you guys. Coming to our portfolio, and I really don't want to show you a graph where every service is already mapped to a certain stage in the supply chain, because this really would defy our interpretation of agile testing approach. Nevertheless, I would like to introduce you at least some of our core services that we can provide along the supply chain, starting from qualification phase up to services that we can render in the country of destination. We offer, of course, compliance testing, but we also offer performance testing. We test to failure. We do benchmark testing. Besides traditional testing, we also offer supports to our clients for technical support, risk assessment, product validation, and monitoring services. And really, depending on the specific need and the specific pain points of our clients, we develop and customize our test programs in very close cooperation. That will be actually all from my side for the general laboratory capability overview. And coming back to the topic of today, the RPET, I would really like to say, supporting our clients with their specific concerns is part of our DNA. And this topic, RPET, is a very good example where we started looking at more reliable methods and quantifying recycled polyester for a very specific need. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniela. And to go now deep dive into the topic of recycled polyester, so Dr. Samuel Le Goupil. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Marie. So today's a big day for us, and we are very proud and happy to share with you these developments. We started these developments 1 year ago. And as Marie said during the introduction, many people have been involved in this work, and is a fruit of a collaboration between different experts with different skills, with different approaches of innovation for the industry. So in plastic industry, and more precisely on polyester materials, one can find many studies from professional associations per country, per geographic areas, with not exactly the same figures, but with the same trends and the same facts. These main trends are the following. First, approximately 70% of PET resin is used for beverage bottles. So this is for mineral waters, for carbonated soft drinks, and other beverage. Second, the rates of bottles recycling differ in large magnitude according to the country, to the area, but on the average, for instance, we can consider 55% in EU and 35% in US as admitted recycling rates, but it changes every day. Third, what you have to consider is 1 ton of recycled PET saved between 50 and 70% compared to fresh PET. And the fourth trend is that recycled PET is used for mainly 4 applications. So the first one is new bottles, and this is for 38%. The second one is for industrial film, which is 29%, and textile fiber is 20%. And other applications count for 13%. So there is a severe competition to get recycled PET compared to what we call fresh PET, which leads to a price increase compared to fresh PET between 20% and even 50% in the coming months. So this means that there is a huge need to control really what you pay for. And also, as KANNAN explained, from the brands and final customers, greenwashing risk is also at stake. Okay, so also, as KANNAN said, there is a massive trend in textile industry to move intensively to more sustainability under the pressure of both NGOs and both final customers, for sure. So this addresses responsible sourcing, chemicals management, resources and waste management, and also energy efficiency and carbon footprint. So the main figures is that many key players announced to target in 2030, so this is in 8 years now, 100% of sustainable fashion and production. And this global objective, with different rates according to the years, according to the countries, is worldwide and with different regulation in US and in EU. For instance, in EU, this is a Green Deal announced in 2019, just two years ago. So, and all this initiative is supported by the United Nations. And through the global climate actions, UN pushes textile industry to increase from 14% to 45% the amount of recycled PET in 2025, so in 3 years now. So the question here is, what is polyester and what is a polyester for bottle, which is the purpose of this webinar. So PET is the acronym of polyethylene terephthalate. This is a saturated polyester made of 2 raw materials for the PET. First one is terephthalic acid, and the second one is ethylene glycol. Now, if you consider PET bottles for their manufacturing efficiency based on blow molding, you inject high pressure air to make the bottles, an additional materials is added to the resin to get higher manufacturing properties, to have higher mechanical properties, higher clarity, higher transparency, and also higher hydrophobic properties. And this materials is the isophthalic acid, which is IPA. So IPA is added in a well-controlled proportion for many reasons for manufacturing efficiency of PET bottles. So we can consider that IPA is a good tracer, is a tracer of the PET coming from the bottles. So the question is, how can we detect and quantify the IPA in a solid sample? So to make this long story short, we worked during 1.5 years on that. We have compared different methods according to different criteria, as you can see here. So the robustness of the method, the detection limit of the method, quantification, the easiness of use of the testing method. What are the matrix effects? It means, do we have any effect from additional substances present in the samples, this is most of the time the case. What is the preparation time, and what are the calibration requirements we have for the method? So the FTIR, Raman, and near-infrared are spectrometric method based on more or less the same physics principle. These methods are cost-effective, easy to use, and robust, but calibration is an issue because of the effect, for instance, of dyeing, and which is, as I said, the matrix effect due to the presence of other substances, which is most of the case. If we consider gas chromatography and liquid chromatography, these methods are renowned for the very low detection limit in the range of ppm and even in the ppb. However, for recycled PET, we do not need to have such detection limit. It's too much for this application. And in addition, for this method, the calibration is very complex as the matrix effects are real and can make the method tedious in different cases. So at the end, we consider that NMR is the most suited method for the detection and for the quantification of IPA. This method is largely used in pharma and medtech industry, and it's accurate and very robust for this purpose. And this method is cost effective as a highly automatized once the sample is prepared. So now the details of the method will be given by Vincent. He's an expert in NMR techniques for complex analysis. Thank you.
Great, Samuel. Thank you very much for sharing this. And indeed, let's hear more about the method from Dr. Vincent Portaluri.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you, Samuel, for your introduction. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. I'm very excited to be sharing today more details about our innovative solution. As you can imagine, there's a lot of research behind this innovation. We spent 18 months looking for the best solution to identify and quantify recycled polyester. And the data gathered for this investigation proved that NMR is the best solution to determine IPA presence and content. So NMR spectroscopy stands for nuclear magnetic resonance. It's an analytical chemistry technique used in many situations, actually, including quality control and research. But it's a perfect tool for determining the content and purity of a sample as well as its molecular structure, amongst other applications, of course. So I'm truly glad to present application today since, you know, NMR is such a wonderful thing, well, widely unknown to people, but still wonderful. I spent years practicing it during my PhD, and it's really great to take it out to the academic world to make it serve industrial needs. So let's dive in. Samuel explained us a few minutes ago that IPA, isophthalic acid, was basically a marker of the recycled characteristic of PET. Thus, the challenge here is to access its concentration, and for that matter, we designed and patented an NMR method. But we will come back to that just later. Let me first explain our strategy. So we gathered, and actually still are gathering, PET plastic bottles in order to embrace the variability of IPA content in that product. We considered many effects, such as bottle size, plastic color, production process, plastic sourcing, etc. Many factors. Interestingly enough, we observed only very little variation in IPA content in PET from plastic bottles, and that allowed us to characterize it. So now we know how much IPA our raw material, plastic bottles, contains before recycling. Therefore, we expect to find it back in the product made from it. So our strategy is then to determine IPA content in an unknown sample and confront it to our database to estimate the recycled PET quantity in it. Okay, so the challenge was quantifying IPA in raw products, and we chose NMR. You may ask, why NMR? Just because you like it? Well, no. Well, it is my favorite technique, but that doesn't count. It's an interesting tool for several reasons, and the most important to me is its robustness. To wrap it fast, NMR is based on magnetic properties called spin, and those properties are ruled by physics, so they are pretty stable among time and space, meaning that if I analyze today a sample here in my lab, in 5 years, in 10 years, in a lab in another country, well, the spectrum, the result, will be the very same, well, given we use equivalent instruments, of course. Another advantage of NMR is that it provides both structural and quantitative information. NMR is widely known for its use in structural determination and more recently in metabolomics because of these properties. Indeed, NMR signal is very specific, and it traduces an observed nucleus environment. So, well, in our case, when I say nucleus, is hydrogen 1, so-called proton. So NMR signals shape and frequency will be very characteristic of a given atom, if I can simplify, in a given molecular environment. And additionally, NMR is a great test to be a quantitative technique that allows both relative and absolute quantification of every analytes, every molecules in a mixture, in a sample. So if the right conditions are met, of course. Finally, because I only picked a few interesting points regarding NMR, it is known as a high throughput technique, which is particularly interesting for database approaches because it allows us to constantly keep feeding our database with new samples to confirm our findings. And that is what we do because actually 10% of our instrumental capacities are dedicated to database. So speaking of findings, here are our results on an investigation carried out over 18 months. So we found that roughly 2/3 of the tested products were not in agreement with their claim. So of course, those results were carried on samples whose recycled PET content was not certified, but still it illustrates how uncertain this market is and why there's a serious need to control it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vincent. And indeed, a little bit scary when we look at these figures. And it's true that mindful consumers become more and more aware, and they become also critical on sustainability claims. As also Dr. Kannan mentioned, there is always, risks of greenwashing. So it means that brands and retailers must be able to back up the use of recycled polyester in their product with concrete proof. We've already seen that until now, the primary way to attest the inclusion of recycled polyester has been to rely on declarations and documents from suppliers. And we saw that earlier when we went through the questionnaire. So today we're very proud to be able to bring a solution to the benefit of our customers, which is really helping to have a scientific proof and really substantiate claim with an extremely solid verification. So the benefits we can say are first of all the certainty. So you are sure that this is what it is, what it's supposed to be. Recycled polyester is there. The second point is quantification. So you get a percentage of the recycled polyester that is in the material, so you can verify suppliers' claim and quotation, but you can also substantiate, and this is the third point, your marketing claims with certainty and peace of mind, and you can communicate on it, and it can really support your sustainable strategies. And finally, last but not least, as I think it was Samuel who was mentioning that today recycled polyester price is going up the roof. I mean, we are even hearing about 50% increase to 50% due to the overall situation. So you need to make sure that you pay the right price for it. So if what the supplier quote and how much you pay is essential for your budget. So I think for these 4 reasons, that's really bringing benefit to you, bringing benefit to brands and retailers, and this is why we are proud of bringing that solution and being able to support you on that. So here you can see also, for an example, these are some of the communication that we see more and more in the market, where brands share in different ways the use of recycled polyester in their product. And that shows the importance also of having a reliable system and a due diligence to prove what your brand communicates. So we are now reaching the end of this session. We still have a little bit of time ahead of us, so we are very happy to be able to go through a Q&A. I think we've received already some of the questions, so I think we can start and read through some of these questions. So
yeah,
I will. Yeah, let me see. So here, yes.
So we received some questions.
Mm-hmm.
So first question we receive is, when is this going to be available? Perhaps Daniela.
Okay, sure. Yes, the solution RPET evaluation is available now. This is the rollout officially to the market. So yes, we can process and people can place orders.
Thank you, Daniela. We got also another question about the price. What price is proposed?
Okay, so yes, for individual material, $320, and the more materials, the higher the discount.
Another question received is if this method has been validated and certified. Perhaps Samuel?
Yes, so for this method, we apply for a patent. So this method is a patent pending. We apply for it and we are waiting for the publication, but we are on a good track for that. We work on that for 18 months. We conduct more than 100 tests, for instance. So yes, we have good confidence in the method.
So I believe we still have a bit of time. So let's cover another one. Where are the tests being done? Daniela?
Currently, the tests are being performed in our Albad lab in France, and we're looking for expansion.
Good. We receive also a question as well about how to ensure that there is even repartition if we only test a small part.
Okay, I think this is like addressing a general topic that we have in product testing, because you cannot stick a whole product into a machine and get a result out of it. So we always have a representative material that we put into our devices and we get our chemical results out of it. Talking about rPET or PET in general, it's quite a homogeneous material, so a small section is quite representative for the whole material. So this is why we do not have the concern as of other more maybe natural materials, but where we see like concentration changes over a whole fabric.
Okay, so I see some other question coming. I think this one is for you, Dr. Kannan. Can we support customer to legitimate their claims with a label?
Okay, great question. See, this question is coupled with few sub questions. So when we talk about legitimate, there are few considerations one has to have in terms of the communication channels. So the question is very clear. If it is going to be on a label, so it's going to be much more carefully. It has to be dealt. So there are two things one has to really pay attention to. One is the material really coming from a recycled resource? When I say this, you can also hear from me that with our experience we have seen some of the claims claim to be recycled polyester. When we look at it, is not really from recycled source at all. It was produced from a virgin resource. So this is first thing. Second one, there are a lot of claims accustomed with the percentage of recycled content in it. Let's say if you want to claim that your product is made of 45% recycled PET in it, so you should have a proper scientifically validated method to vouch for the authenticity of this 45%. So 45%, like scientifically we allow a few percentage here and there, but if you declare 45% and then we test it, it is only 15%. It's not acceptable. There's a world of differences. Okay, so there are two things you have to again pay attention to. Let me reiterate. One is the presence of recycled content in the presence of recycled material or the source of recycle option. So the product what you made is really from a recycled resource. Second one, the percentage of content you declare. So make sure that you have a scientific backup for these two options when you want to go for a claim at the label level. So this is the way you can get it done. And I already told you the best way to get this done without greenwashing is to go for a document review plus on-site assessment plus a scientific approach validated by a reliable third party like us. So then you have a worry-free way of declaring it in your label side. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kannan, very clear. So another question we have is, and I think we'll take only one question to close this meeting, but why is this technique better than other technique? Perhaps a question for you, Dr. Samuel.
Yes, I think that we try to explain it, but because we studied different methods, we compare according to the different criteria I gave. But yes, we can provide additional detail for people really interested in having much more details on the techniques. Thanks.
Thank you. I think for the rest of the question, you can still send us the question and we will answer by email. I'll leave it to you, Marie.
Yes, thank you. So that will be the end of our discussion and presentation today. As mentioned earlier, we'll answer the additional questions that we have received during the webinar by email, if we haven't covered all of them. And we're also going to send you a recording of the session. And we would be very happy that you take also a few more minutes at the end of the session to fill in the satisfaction survey that will appear normally on your web browser. It will appear very shortly, and it will really help us, to understand if this session has been useful, if it brings you the right level of information, and also to improve for future topic. And the last part is that we really want to extend a great thank you for all the attendees and the participants today. And we hope that, you find this new innovation and development exciting. And well, we have been very excited, to present it to you. And we wish you all, if you are in Europe or the Western side of Asia, a very nice day and a nice evening to everybody located in Asia. Thank you very much.